when we talk about LDCs, you're basically talking about Africa. Africa has 33 out of the 47 LDCs that we're talking about. And so that's 70%. And so when we're talking about climate change adaptation, Africa has been shortchanged when it comes to climate finance, because Africa is not contributing so much to it, only 4%, but is bearing the brunt of it. But I'm not going to come here today and moan about things. I think the thing is what we are doing ourselves about it, because I believe development must be with pride, not with begging. First and foremost is that the African Development Bank, as Africa's bank, we are doubling our financing for climate to $25 billion by 2025. And that is to support African countries. 49% of that will be for climate adaptation. So that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing that I want to say is with regard to energy. That's the reason that God gave Africa sunlight, the highest irradiation in the world. We supported Morocco, sitting next to me here, to build the world's largest solar power, the new Uzazate. And so the African Development Bank and its partners working with them have decided to launch a major program, which is called Desert to Power, in the Sahel of Africa, that will construct the largest solar zone in the world. It will be 10,000 megawatts that will cover 11 countries, that will allow us to power the whole of the Sahel using the power of the sun. And that's going to be a $20 billion investment to be able to do that. And that will create jobs, that will revolutionize the Sahel, that will allow us to have green agriculture, that will reduce migration to Europe, and that will allow Sahel to develop with pride. And that's what it matters so much. The third thing I want to say has to do with disaster risk management. You know, when the floods happen, we move very quickly to support Malawi, Zimbabwe, and also Mozambique. The African Development Bank provided $103 million, but we are doing more than that now. I'm pleased to announce to you that we've launched a major initiative that's called Disaster Risk Financing Facility that will mobilize $250 million to provide insurance premiums for low-income countries to pay against catastrophic risk events, and that will allow them to mobilize $1 billion of payout by 2030. And finally, let me say that coal is the past. Renewable energy is the future. For us at the African Development Bank, we're getting out of coal. We're not doing coal. And so we have launched what's called the Green Baseload Facility. It's going to be $500 million that will support countries to move out of coal and also out of fossil fuel to move straight into renewable energy. And we expect that that will allow them to have $5 billion to support that transition. We are sitting here, my sister, before I close, and this whole place looks green. The conversation about climate change started right in this hall. We've got to finish it right in this hall, because when we make this world to be resilient against climate change, it's not only good for us, we have a better life, but we actually leave the next generation also better. And I'm sure that together we can do that.